In the constant noise of life, where obstacles seem to multiply and time flies, how do some people manage to remain calm and steadfast in the face of challenges? It's all about resilience, that mysterious quality that allows someone to rise every time they fall. In fact, an old Japanese proverb says, "Fall 7 times, stand up 8." Resilience is not just an ability, it's a philosophy of life. From the lush palace where Siddhartha Gautama grew up to the bustling streets of Rome where Seneca contemplated his wealth, there is a common quest for balance amid change. Both of these thinkers, from different cultures and eras, arrived at the same conclusion. Life's pleasures are desirable, but should not control us. Buddha understood that we shouldn't deny ourselves pleasures, but not become slaves to them. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, believed that pleasures are not inherently bad as long as they don't take over us. So, how do we navigate life's changes without aging prematurely due to stress and anxiety? How can we be flexible in the face of change but unwavering in our values? Resilience is cultivated, practiced, and improved, just like a muscle. Seneca teaches us a technique: negative visualization. Instead of fearing the worst, we can confront it in our minds, feel it, and then let it go. So before falling asleep, we could ask ourselves, what's the worst thing that could happen? Visualize it, and then let it go. In conclusion, resilience is not a quality we either have or don't. It's a decision we make every day to stay dedicated to our passion and to rise every time we fall. It's the art of living with meaning and purpose amidst chaos, finding balance in change, and being unwavering in the face of challenges. Beyond the daily turmoil of our thoughts and emotions lies a calm, an expansiveness of consciousness that we often ignore or forget. Stoicism, with its ancient wisdom, provides us with tools to navigate this inner storm. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, reminds us that it's not external events themselves that disturb us, but how we interpret them, how we react to them. However, how do we gain control over these reactions? How do we stop being victims of our own emotions and start mastering them? The answer may come from another wise tradition, Zen Buddhism. Zen meditation is not about suppressing emotions but observing them. It's an act of being present with what we feel, allowing thoughts and emotions to arise and pass without attachment. It's not an attempt to empty the mind but a practice of being fully aware and present. The mantra Om Mani Padme Hum is a profound illustration of this inner journey. Each syllable, each sound, represents a purification of our negative emotions and desires, transforming them into positive virtues. From jealousy to ethics, from passion to patience, from prejudice to diligence, from greed to renunciation, and from hatred to wisdom. So, when we feel overwhelmed by emotions, when our feelings seem to control us, we can find solace and strength in these ancient practices. We can use Stoic wisdom to remind us of what we can and cannot control, and Zen meditation to train our minds to remain centered and balanced. Together, these can guide us towards a life of clarity, peace, and profound understanding, the present moment and the ephemeral nature of things. Another way to cultivate resilience is the ability to know in what time we should live. Buddhism and Stoicism remind us that the only thing that exists and is within our power is the present. We shouldn't worry about the past or the future, but appreciate things as they are now, in the present moment. We are here and now. The only moment we are alive is the current one, said Thich Nhat Hanh. In addition to the current moment, the Stoics recommend considering the ephemeral nature of the things that surround us. Emperor Marcus Aurelius said, "Leaves that the wind scatters on the ground, in the same way, the race of men." He also said, "The world is alteration, life, opinion, an idea that is, in fact, characteristic of Buddhism. We must be aware of everything we have and the fact that all the people we love will eventually disappear. We must take this into account, but without becoming despondent. Awareness of the transient nature of things should not sadden us but help us love the present and everything that surrounds us. All human things are of short duration, transitory," Seneca said. The transient, temporary, and impermanent nature of the world is the central idea of any Buddhist discipline. If we take this into account, we will not suffer excessively in the event of a loss. Japanese philosophy offers a profound perspective on human existence. While the West tends to emphasize durability, eternity, and perfection, Japanese philosophy, exemplified by concepts like wabi-sabi and ichigo ichi-e, highlights the acceptance and appreciation of imperfection and ephemerality. In this perspective, beauty is not in the pursuit of perfection, but in the acceptance, appreciation, and experience of imperfection. Our lives are not determined by moments of perfection, but by moments when we have accepted and fully lived in the presence of imperfection. Appreciating a broken cup or a rainy day is as valuable as appreciating a work of art or a sunny day. Ichigo ichi-e reminds us that each moment is unique and will never come again. This is an invitation to live each moment to the fullest, to be present and savor every moment. Every interaction, every exchanged smile, every sunrise or sunset has immeasurable value. Western architecture tends to seek permanence, impressing with size and durability. In contrast, Japanese architecture reflects the principle of wabi-sabi, accepting and highlighting the beauty of the ephemeral and imperfect. The Ise Shrine, rebuilt every 2 decades, symbolizes this understanding of transience and the importance of the present moment. Ikigai, another Japanese concept, refers to the reason for getting up in the morning. It's that passion or purpose that gives our lives meaning. By connecting with our personal ikigai, we can live with passion, enthusiasm, and authenticity. By integrating these concepts into our lives, we can learn to see beauty in imperfection, live each moment as if it were unique, and find our true passion and purpose. This is the essence of a life lived with wisdom and an open heart. But shortly after that, we arrived in the city of Ishinomaki, a city that, although equally devastated by the tsunami, had a different story. There, the community came together to rebuild. Volunteers from all over Japan and abroad came to help, offering their time and resources. Temporary schools, community libraries, and recreation spaces for children were built. Ishinomaki became a living example of anti-fragility. Instead of being completely defeated by the tragedy, the city used the event as a catalyst for transformation and innovation. New businesses and community initiatives started to emerge, including art workshops and training programs for youth. Driven by the desire not to let the tragedy define the city's identity, the residents of Ishinomaki came together to make it stronger and more resilient than it was before. What the story of Ishinomaki teaches us is that anti-fragility is not just about the ability to resist, but also about the ability to adapt, grow, and thrive in the face of adversity. This applies to both individuals and communities. It's important to note that anti-fragility doesn't mean intentionally seeking adversity or inviting it into our lives. Instead, it's a recognition that some of the greatest lessons and developments come in response to difficult situations. Being anti-fragile means having the ability to turn those moments into opportunities for growth. To develop anti-fragility in our lives, we can start by expanding our perspectives, accepting that change is an inevitable part of life, and seeking lessons in every experience, good or bad. This will not only help us navigate tough times, but also allow us to thrive in them, just as the community in Ishinomaki did. Anti-fragility, the central idea of essayist Nicholas Taleb, encourages us to reshape our perspective on life events. Instead of fearing adversity or constantly seeking comfort, we should see every obstacle as an opportunity to become stronger. Take the example of the cities of Ishinomaki and Kezanuma, both devastated by a tsunami. Instead of remaining victims of the tragedy, these cities reformed and came back stronger, exemplifying the concept of anti-fragility. In the same spirit, Japanese builders who benefited from the reconstruction offer us a valuable lesson. In the face of catastrophes, we can find opportunities for growth and development. Applying these ideas to our personal lives, we can diversify our sources of income, investments, or relationships, so we're never dependent on a single factor. This balance can protect us in times of crisis and enable us to thrive when others are suffering. Moving on to step 2, we're presented with a pragmatic approach to anti-fragility through investments. Taking small risks with high potential rewards can bring unexpected benefits. It's also crucial to avoid situations that could jeopardize our overall stability. Step 3 encourages introspection. To become anti-fragile, we must know our weaknesses and eliminate everything that makes us fragile. This can refer to unhealthy habits, debts, or toxic relationships. Removing these elements provides us with a solid foundation on which to build a meaningful and purposeful life, keeping our focus on Ikigai. In conclusion, life is full of uncertainties, changes, and challenges. However, every difficult moment can be transformed into an opportunity if we adopt the mindset of anti-fragility. Instead of fearing change, we should embrace it and learn from it. Thus, with each obstacle overcome, we can enrich our existence and live a life where every day is perceived as an eternity full of possibilities.